And prior to that, it's been used in the military, and then subsequently after that, you had a lot of boom in AI. Then you had the AI winter, because what happened was that there was a lot of hype, there was a lot of excitement, and basically what happened was a lot of, like now, a lot of enthusiasm kicked off about AI. And what began to happen was a lot of companies, a lot of individuals, a lot of academics were imagining what AI could do for them. But what happened was the reality of investment did not happen. So there was no possibility to scale. There was no internet as we know it. There was no TikTok or Instagram to share how AI is making puff-puff or is making eba, as so many of us are doing skits these days. But things evolved. So you have the first evolution of AI where it was the academics. And the academics in the US came up with a lot of theories, and it kind of affected chip making, computers, how things happen in different areas. Though we had that period of when machine learning started, making of algorithms, automation, and that era generally. So that was an era where, most of what was happening there was, predictive AI, where it was not the generative that the democracy of AI has brought to all of us. Because before, if you went to a conference about AI, you will meet statisticians, you will meet mathematics experts, you will meet geeks, basically. But now we have, I saw something online, someone using AI for Fuji, and that blew me. I saw someone using AI for traditional religion or something like that, or that is interesting, because when I started AI, in 2014, working in AI. I remember the first project, I felt foreign, not because of my skin color, but because every other person was either a professor or a doctor or someone who's been a developer for like 20 years or 25 years. And I was only brought in because of my stakeholder management skill set. And I felt, wow, what am I doing here? I don't even know this AI thing. Yeah, I've read about it. But now everybody is talking AI. So you find that this is moving forward, and there's a lot of activity within the private sector. And I will encourage more AI conferences, summit events, because to adapt and adopt AI for Nigeria, we have to understand it. We have to talk about it. We have to break it down to our level. So when we look at these three different areas, we look at the talent, we look at the infrastructure and governance. I will start from the infrastructure because I think most of us understand that. And I will kind of step out
Recording
of these
in progress
that the organizer has given me. At AI Nigeria, we have this thing called the AI tripod, which is the talent, compute, and infrastructure. So basically, when we look at infrastructure, and I'm linking these two things together, what does infrastructure mean in AI? So AI does not happen in the air. You have to use a device, you have to use something for AI to happen. Be it a drone, be it a phone, be it a computer, be it a laptop, be it a robot. In one of the places I live, robots deliver stuff. It's a place called MK, but the convener knows the place. And basically, we have robots been delivering stuff to us since I don't know when. And I see that other cities are copying it. It started in MK. The thing is that when you look at infrastructure, for those things to happen, you need to charge those devices. You need to code with electricity. So there has to be power. So one of the things that AI needs to evolve, and looking at the landscape of Nigeria, is power. So if you look at infrastructure, you also look at, within that, you look at compute. So I'm merging this together now. So when you look at compute, I hope we know that compute for AI is not cheap. If you just Google the cost of compute machines or engine HPUs, 250K in dollars, those sort of price range. Even if you have the cheaper ones, yes, they are getting cheaper. Even at that, they are not cheap. So when you look at the infrastructure for the AI landscape to evolve positively in Nigeria, power is a big thing. And when you say power, I engage with a lot of players in the infrastructure and power industry. So a lot of data center operators are friends, owners. And when you begin to look, so the first thing is there's no data center in Nigeria that is wired up for AI, none. So I know a couple of friends who are going to build one, and one of them is a sponsor of this event, so he's my good friend. But the way the data centers are set up, none in Nigeria is set up to process AI. That's number one. Number two, if you want to run AI, the infrastructure, how many of us watch CNN? Either in our house or hotel receptions. We watch it one way or the other, sure. You'll have seen that a few weeks or a few months ago, I think it was around October, there was a guy that went to the Senate in the US to talk about the challenge of power, that the US does not have enough power for AI. Yeah, I'll repeat it. The US does not have enough power for AI. We live in Nigeria, right? God bless us. Let us sink in. So when you talk AI, so I need us to begin to understand. So if the US does not have enough power for AI, we need to sort of behave ourselves. Yeah? So we need a lot of power. But then, there's a popular saying that it always seems impossible until it's done. So yes, the US does not have enough power for AI. But if you follow the trend of infrastructure and data center evolution in the US, you realize that most of them are built, data centers are built around the desert areas. Why? Because of the temperature. And we are blessed with hot weather here. A lot of us complain about it, but you don't know that God made us stay here, and He gave us that weather for a reason. So the infrastructure we need power, we need compute, and they are not cheap. Then I'll step out a bit. I'll go into the next one, talent. When I look into this, in this room now, this room can take over the world because we have a lot of talent here. Why do I say that? I'm sure that there are loads of students here. If you're a student of a university or a student of anything, raise up your hand, please. Yeah. I'm also a student because I learn every day. So I had an incident. I was going through a barrier, and a guy was caught, and he was told that he's using a child pass. They say, yeah, he's also a child. He's a child of someone. And the guy didn't find it funny. He was fined, obviously. He was one of the checkers. But, but the reality is we are all students. The competitive advantage that Nigeria has in AI, any form of AI, is the talent. And that was why I started with India. When India started, they focused on IT outsourcing because a lot of their universities produce IT graduates. And the challenge they had was there were no jobs. So Nigeria is blessed. In the part of the world that I spend a lot of time, the age, the birth rate is going down. In Nigeria, we are very busy. The birth rate is on the upside. So the geometric progression of birth rate in Nigeria is mind-boggling. Whether in reality or made up or jazzed up thing, but it's happening, people are giving birth. So that in itself, it's a competitive advantage, comparatively compared to our competition, whether the ones we know or the ones we don't know. We have talent. How many of us know the population of Lagos State? 20 million. Do I have another one? 35. Do I have 50? Sounding like an auction house. So if you think of Lagos State, so I'm a Lagosian, so I, born
Recording in progress.
I thought the MC said no recording, but just joking. But if you look at the analysis of Lagos State population, you find that you don't need to be a statistician or population expert. Just stay somewhere like the top of a hotel or stay on one of the bridges. Just look. You will see more young people. So we have a lot of young people. So the reason I'm saying this is that Nigeria has the comparative, competitive advantage of young people. And whether you are a builder, a potential investor, put your money in AI in this country. Why? Because you're going to have consumers that will consume over a long period of time. Because unlike other countries where geriatric medicine and caring for old people is a focus, we are giving birth, every milliseconds. There's a lot of, things happening. So the young people can make a lot of difference and are making a lot of difference and will make a lot of difference. In the Nigerian Landscape AI report that we carried out in 2024, that's at AI Nigeria, when we looked at the startups in 2024 versus 2025, it's gone up. And the interesting thing is that year on year, the majority of the people or the sort of startup owners are young people, which is not surprising because this is an exciting area. And I've seen 2 or 3 of them in this crowd, which gladdens my heart because it's good that you get knowledge. You go to different places and get knowledge. And the talent bit is where the government needs to help, where the private sector needs to invest, and where individuals have to be smart to research. When you go on social media, TikTok, Instagram, and all that, don't just reach out to that person and say, how can I invest in your company? Imagine if you were an investor in MoneyPoint. Imagine if you were an investor in Flutterwave, InterSwitch. Even if you invest and take 2% in an AI company, you don't know where they're going to be, but make sure you research. You research who you invest in. At the very startup stage, AI founders are very open because they don't know their economics at that time. They don't know where they are going. If you are very smart, so we have one of the trending stories in Nigeria, the TerraOptics in Abuja, the drone guys in security. They are one of our communities. One of my colleagues went to meet them a couple of years ago. This guy is now doing like $2 billion naira business. The co-founder of Perplexity has invested in them. These are 2 guys. Everything, their infrastructure is made with local, hardware. And the other guy is a developer. It is important that there is action in AI. It's good to talk, talk is good, especially the telco guys, they like it. They need us to talk. But, AI without action is dead. If you are just talking AI and you don't build, that was why the first time I met the convener, I said, you are doing something great because if you are going to be mentoring and helping developers to build, that is what we need. And the good thing is that when AI is in action, you begin to see fruit and results. Because you can talk to you, turn purple in the face. How are you solving the problem of education? How are you solving the problem of healthcare? How are you solving the problem of talent drain, which some people call brain drain? There's so many opportunities. There's a popular saying that a pessimist sees a calamity in every opportunity, while an optimist sees an opportunity in every calamity. So I'm an optimist, but measured optimism because of life experience. I have 35 years experience. The thing is, when you've been through the rounds, you're optimistic, but your optimism still has some measures of how you measure things. The thing is, talent is one big area that I want all of us to pay attention to. There is opportunity in talent development. There's opportunity in talent investment. And there's opportunity in talent coordination. I was telling someone something yesterday. He said, I've been in recruitment. This AI thing excites me. And I just asked her a question. I said, well, have you ever recruited any technical person? And she said, yeah, that's what I've always done. I said, okay, that's interesting. Because the reality is that you are sitting on a gold mine. He said, how do you mean? I said, well, all those technology experts, all those technology people, have you ever checked out what they've been up to in their life? She said, no, yeah, I got my cut and I've moved on. I said, okay, that's the general thinking. Imagine if you have tracked these people, followed what they are doing, and reach out to them because you gave them fish, you gave them food by placing them on jobs. They will be open to talk to you and say, I want to invest, take 5% of your startup. You think they will listen to you? Or you create events where they meet investors and all that. In the area of talent, there are so many opportunities. It's not just about developing them. The government can help, private sector individual can help, investors can help, and there are loads of opportunities here. In the area of governance, so 2018, just like I stumbled into AI in 2014, I also stumbled, So interestingly, there are some group of people who say work had never stumbled. But I'm working, but sometimes I stumble. So you know those people with palm wine. So, so I still stumble again into AI governance. And when I stumbled into AI governance, it was exciting because my trade was product management. I'm a product person. And by the way, I want to encourage you, this AI thing, you don't need to be a science student, not like the Olamide one, as in from school. You don't need to be, you don't need to be a geek. I always like to tell this interjection in my speeches. I am an art student. I studied English language. I'm a musician. I'm creative, but I'm in AI. Because I know how to interact with human beings. So management has been my background. But my partner here at Rabo, his first degree was in maths. He's doing his PhD in AI. But we work together beautifully. He's my brother. In fact, we mirror each other. He's got 3 girls. I've got 3 girls. He's very serious. I'm very serious. I told him we could start a tutorial. You are doing maths. I'm doing English. Tutorial, don't start. But I'm encouraging you that with my story, yeah? You don't need to be a geek. You don't need to be an expert in technology. Find a problem and solve it with AI. Find people that are more clever than you, recruit them. You can pay them with sweat equity. You might not even have the money. So I get to the area of governance, and I want to talk about governance. You know, there's an advert that power without control is dangerous. I think it's a tire company. Imagine if you are building product in AI and there's nothing that regulates it. And I'm a student of innovation, so I learned about the time that the rail tracks were being set in the US. And the gauges or the width were different, where goods were going to be taken from one part of the US to the other, and the trains get stuck somewhere. Because the guy who's built the rail track in New York and the guy who's built the rail track in Massachusetts, they just operate from different rule book. So the train is going, and it gets somewhere, it gets stuck because the gauge on the other side is thinner or wider, and they can't move forward. So governance is important, mainly from the fact that of 3 reasons. Number 1, when you have governance, there is a standard. We all sing from the same hymn sheet. We are all working towards the same thing. Number 2, there are some dangerous things that could happen. And I'll talk about these dangerous things. So you have example of number 1, like shadow AI. How many of us know about shadow AI? I expect you to know now. I'm talking about the crowd. So shadow AI is the scenario now where, whether you like it or not, when you have someone who works for you, they are using multiple AI stuff. So if you are in the banking sector, regulated sector, all those financial services, yes, your IT has blocked all those things. But all the tech bros and techs working in the place, they have 2, 3 devices now. Can you block that one too? So as you've given them something, some of them, I have a friend who's the head of compliance. He said what they do now is, if you email, there'll be an alarm that will blow. This is Nigeria now. They will print out stuff and they will take picture. What about that? So basically, people at workplaces, and some of you probably have done it because I can see some smiles, they are using AI solutions that are not approved at work and using it to make work faster, to do interviews, to do different things. It's okay when it helps you, but when it could cause a big problem for the organization, That's a big thing. This is where governance comes in. And you have to have frameworks. In the last 2 years, I've been part of governance advisory to a few financial services and private organizations. And basically, I think one of the key things is that you realize that a lot of organizations don't truly know. Joining everything together in closing, I would say that I congratulate the convener for what she's doing. I think more of this has to be done. And in terms of how the landscape is evolving, there's a lot of things happening. We also do a lot of things, and we'll be doing more with the convener at AI Nigeria. We have a conference coming up, which is looking at responsible AI. And the responsibility of having responsible AI is for you and for me. In the way we use AI, how we process data, how we store data, how we use data. Meta was fined $32.5 or $32.8 million. Another bank was fined. An entertainment platform was fined. But the thing I'm going to wrap up with is that there are opportunities for the landscape to evolve more positively. We can all make it happen. This is the fourth industrial revolution, AI. And it's not about ChatGPT, Meta AI, or Gemini. It goes beyond that. It can create, generational wealth for you and your family. It can solve a lot of Nigerian problems. We have the talent advantage in Nigeria, which can make a lot of difference. So everyone, I congratulate you for coming here. I hope you have a good day. And I sincerely appreciate you for listening, and thank you, the convener. God bless you. Have a good day.
Ladies and gentlemen, we can do better than that. Let's give him a resounding applause. Thank you very much, Mr. Dotun, for such a very brilliant opening keynote. I mean, he said so many things that we can literally take home today about how much AI has evolved over time. And, quite frankly, this is not the end. We're just at the very tip of the iceberg, because there's still so much more that AI is going to evolve into over the years. Once again, thank you so much, sir, for that amazing opening keynote. We do not take your time lightly, and we are really grateful for your time. Ladies and gentlemen, please, one more time, let's give him another resounding applause. Thank you. Is there anyone in the room that wants to share a thing or two they learned from what he spoke about, how AI has evolved? There was someone that, was telling, I learned today that AI started way long before we even knew, it started. Someone coined the word AI. Someone around this side answered the question. But is there anybody in the room that would like to just share a little bit about what they've learned from what Mr. Dotun spoke to us just now? Okay, please, can we put our hands together for that lady as she comes forward? Please step forward. I love women that are very bold. Please clap for her. You can't do what she's doing. Clap for her now. I mean, I like women that are very bold and very audacious. She's learned something and she thought to share. Please step forward. Yeah, so you just tell us your name and what you've learned so far. Thank you.
Hi, everyone. Good morning. I think I'll just start with, I'm Damala Adeoye, and I'll start with when she mentioned that the first record of AI was in 1930, and the name was coined in 1963 by code breakers and all of that. And you can see that they didn't really make much progress. It was as if, they were doing research, right? But they didn't make much progress until, recently. And when I heard that, it just linked back to the whole AI in action stuff. Because even though, they knew this is possible with computers and things like that, they didn't make this much advancement. And right now, yes, there's AI. It looks like it's advanced and things like that. But even if we stop right here, there's way more we can do with that. We talked about how, it's going very fast, right? But we cannot just stay alone with how fast it's going. We have to stop the whole hallucination that is going on with AI. And we have to stop from the video that was played, where they talked about reliability too. So The whole point is, yeah, even though, we know this is possible, we need to still take action to make it bigger.
Absolutely. Please, she deserves a resounding applause than that. Please, you can return to your seat. You can give the microphones to the ushers. Please put your hands together for her. The people on this side, what's going on with your hands? Only people on this side are clapping. Oh, because she came from this side of the hall. Please, people on this side, please keep your applause. People on this side, please clap for her. Do you see the difference? Wow. Wow, just wow. Anyways, thank you so much, and thank you for being so attentive. You know, we like events like this where even as the speaker speaks, people are paying attention, and she literally had a jotter full. It's just to tell you that she came here ready to learn, and I hope you are as well.